feeding your kids, do you know where their food comes from? How about, do they know where their food comes from? Sometimes kids don't realize that their food comes from the farm. And that it just doesn't show up at a grocery store. This is why agricultural education is important. I believe that we need to set up an educational mandate for agriculture education. Agriculture is very important. The Nebraska Agricultural Education Department said in their mission of 2015 that agriculture education prepares students for successful careers and a lifetime of informed choices in the global agriculture, food, and natural resource systems. This makes agriculture pretty important. Today we're going to discuss why an agriculture education mandate is necessary. Then we are going to explore how it would satisfy the need for consumer knowledge. And finally, we will tell what we can do now to make it happen. So, to begin, why do we need this agricultural education mandate? In a survey done by PRNewswire in 2011, 72% of consumers were reported to know nothing or very little about farming or ranching, and 86% of farmers think that consumers know too little about farming and ranching operations. These are astounding numbers. Of everyone in the United States, less than 20 or more than 20% of them don't know very much about agriculture. So, agricultural education integrates three things into schools through the agriculture education program. The first is classroom involvement. The second is leadership involvement. And the third is experiential involvement. Now, many people may know this as FFA for the leadership involvement. A lot of people have misconceptions that FFA is what agricultural education is, when in fact there is the classroom aspect of agricultural education. And that's where students learn about the different areas of agriculture and the benefits that it has to the world. The leadership portion of agriculture education is primarily through FFA. Agricultural education allows students to take a step into becoming a leader for the agriculture industry. And finally, in the experiential section of agriculture education, we have SAE projects in the FFA department and work studies or other such things in other areas. Now, in agricultural education classes, it is typical to have hands-on experience. That's where the experiential type of involvement comes in. An SAE, or Supervised Agricultural Experience, is where a student learns to develop their own business or work for someone else in the agricultural industry or in a field that relates to agricultural education, in order to expand their horizons and learn more about agriculture. Now that we've discussed why we need a mandate, we will explore how the mandate will satisfy the need for consumer knowledge. In an article posted by the North Carolina Farm Bureau in 2010, titled 15 Misconceptions About Agriculture, 3 of them stood out in particular to me. The first, eating beef is the reason that methane in the atmosphere has tripled in the last 100 years. The second, a person's genes could be changed by eating a genetically modified fruit or vegetable. And third, organic food production has less impact on the environment than traditional food production. Because of agricultural's transition to sustainable practices, we have seen a lot less harmful impact on the environment through traditional food production. and genetically modified fruits and vegetables are simply to enhance the product to grow more, which is why that our genes can't be changed. And people don't understand these things. People have these misconceptions. By having a mandate for agricultural education, we will satisfy the need for consumers to know this stuff. They need to know that all these misconceptions aren't true. Now, we can combat these misconceptions through agricultural education. In the PRNewswire survey, 69% of consumers were reported to think about food production at least somewhat often. That's a lot when you think about it. And they don't quite have all of the information that they need to really understand where their food is coming from because they have these misconceptions. By teaching young kids about agriculture through an agricultural education mandate, we will be better able to let people know where their food is coming from. Now I'm going to tell what we need to do to make this happen. We can participate in the Know Your Farmer, Know Your Food program done by the United States Department of Agriculture, started in 2009. You can also start an agriculture education program in your local school. Now, we can also get legislature involved and talk to our legislature representatives and let them know that this is something we need to do. And finally, we need to be an advocate. When I say advocate, I mean agriculture advocate. We need to let people know what is going on in the agricultural industry and how helpful it is. Finally, we can contact our local agriculture leaders to give presentations and get younger kids involved in them. One of these things is done by the Nebraska Department of Agriculture, in which they hold the Nebraska Agricultural Youth Institute. This helps to promote agricultural opportunities for youth. So, agriculture education is important to informing kids of what is going on and where their food comes from. So, we've discussed why we need this agricultural education mandate, how it will inform consumers, and finally, I told you how we can work to carry it out. Now, get your community involved today.